Parenting, the Flame of Creativity, Born from Struggles, Beethoven. Episode 2, Vienna, the shining city of music, and a lonely man's refuge. Beethoven finally leaves Bonn and arrives in Vienna. Outwardly free, yet still haunted by the shadow of his father. He studies under Haydn, follows Mozart's legacy, and composes his great symphonies, Eroica, Fate, and Choral. But inside, he remains deeply unsettled. Love eludes him. His hearing worsens. His anxiety and depression push him to move more than 80 times in Vienna. Lonely in success, unstable at his peak. Today, we witness how a child's wound can become the seed of immense creativity. Scene 1, Meeting Haydn. In Vienna, Beethoven meets Haydn, the greatest composer of the time. Haydn recognizes his talent and takes him as a student. But their relationship is not easy. Beethoven wants to surpass Haydn and struggles with his teaching methods. Still, Haydn provides the structure and form, while Beethoven adds passion and emotion on top. Scene 2, Mozart's legacy and pressure in Vienna. Vienna belonged to Mozart. He died in 1791. Beethoven arrived the very next year, in 1792. In 1787, a 17-year-old Beethoven had briefly met Mozart, but he had to return home due to his mother's illness. In 1792, aged 22, Beethoven returns to Vienna to study under Haydn, but Mozart is already gone. Their destinies missed each other. People begin calling Beethoven Mozart's successor. This legacy weighs heavily on Beethoven. He avoids social gatherings and prefers solitude. He speaks through music alone. He eventually moves to Heiligenstadt, where he writes his famous testament. Scene 3, Love and Emotional Struggles. Vienna sparkled at night, but Beethoven's heart remained lonely. Giulietta Guicciardi, Josephine Brunswick, Thérèse Malfatti, he loved deeply, but was never loved back. Beethoven was emotionally intense and honest, yet unstable and easily hurt. Raised by an abusive father and a powerless mother, he lacked secure attachment. He longed for love, but lacked the emotional skills to maintain it. His love life burned brightly at first, then faded into solitude. His dreams were bigger than reality. Scene 4, Hearing Loss and the Heiligenstadt Testament. Ringing in his ears, a world growing quieter. He feels cast out from the one world he loves most, music. In 1802, in Heiligenstadt near Vienna, he writes a farewell letter. He nearly gives up on life. But in the final line, he writes, "Art held me back. I still have work to do." Scene 5, Flames of Music. Out of despair comes the Third Symphony, Eroica. At first dedicated to Napoleon, he rips the dedication after Napoleon becomes a dictator. The piece becomes a battle cry of the human spirit. Then comes Fate, and then Choral. Losing his hearing, he writes music for all of humanity. Though we can't hear it, we still can. Scene 5-1, The Knock of Fate. In 1808, he completes his Symphony No. 5, Fate. It begins with the sound of fate knocking, a symbol of defiance and strength. "I will not fall!" the music cries. Scene 5-2, Silence in Creation. Along with hearing loss, he faces heartbreak, financial struggles, and isolation. Yet in silence, he meets himself and becomes a true artist. He once said, "Silence speaks more than conversation." Scene 6, 80 Moves in Vienna. In Vienna, Beethoven moves over 80 times. People say he was difficult, but maybe he was just seeking peace. In silence, he poured his life into each note. Scene 7, Psychological Insights. Alfred Adler said, "Creativity comes from healing wounds." Melanie Klein said, "Art is the mind's attempt to bring harmony by projecting inner chaos." Beethoven rarely felt safe emotionally, but music became his home. He couldn't speak his pain in words, so he told it in music. Closing, Beethoven inspired the world, yet deep inside, he remained a wounded child. His grandfather's warmth was a quiet comfort. His father's violence left scars. He longed for love, but didn't know how to keep it. As John Bowlby said, "Only children who are loved can learn to love." As Erikson said, "Trust in childhood becomes intimacy in adulthood." Beethoven felt his grandfather's love for a moment, but grew up hungry for affection. He wrote music about love, but lived in loneliness. This video is not just about music, but about wounds, and how adults' words and behavior shape a child's future. If you want your child to become a creator, first give them memories of safe, warm love. A smile, a kind look, a bedtime story. These may hold their life together someday. Thank you for watching.